Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back, of course, to the Time Bomb channel, and I hope all is good in your part of the world. Today's watch comparison then is possible. So after probably 8-9 months on the wait list, I finally got the email saying that my new helm was going to be ready, and boom, here it is. So just going to stop there and do the unboxing, but without sound because it's a little annoying without plastics. All right then, so yeah, box done and dealt with. So the Vanuatu then, named after the island where during the Coconut Wars, the Royal Marines dealt with a small French-backed affair. I think it was back in the 1980s. The waters around the island are an absolute diving paradise, and also a bit of a military dumping ground. So these sleeves they do fit on very tight. The brand and the watch probably need little introduction as they were introduced a while back now. But as soon as we can get inside there, I'll show you share the specs with you. Got the usual bits and pieces. Nice personalised note there from the owners, and there inside. It's our beastie. Prepare yourselves for a man-sized puddle when you open the box on one of these things, because they are truly delicious. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to faff around there again. 1 second, just get everything out of the box. Yeah. All right, so everything out of the box, a little less fiddly and noisy. If I find the sound really does bother me when I'm trying to do that on camera. So what we get inside then is your signature polishing cloth, your just a note from the owners. This particular one, then obviously they give you a free NATO. So we've got Bond style NATO here, screwdriver to adjust your linkage size on there. Obviously our engineer style bracelet. Additional pins and documentation in here. So what have we got? So yeah, so we got warranties, bits and pieces. Yeah, nice sticker. Also two stickers. Two stickers available come in this one, and then this one is new. I've not seen this one before. All right, so they're giving you like a little set of instructions for the watch, should you need them. Let's just open up this plastic on the engineer, because to me that's a fundamental part of this one. All right then, so fiddly plastics off. Yeah, as I said, really wanted to make sure that I showed you this bracelet, because yeah, I think it's a massive part of the watch. You'll also see then here that I've got the additional bezel that they sell at discount when you buy with the watch. I think it's around $5 discount or something on that. Yeah, makes a big difference. So the watches then themselves come in at 42 mils across, extending out to around 46 mils if you include the crown. North to south then they sit on 50 mils, extended out to those extension of those lugs. Depth on these is 14 mils. And the lugs standard 22 there. The crown then, also worth mentioning, is a gorgeous lump at 8 mils, so absolutely zero issue at all with getting your fingers in there to get some purchase area. Inside this one then is the Seiko NH35, and as you can see down here in that perfectly placed date window at the 6 is the blacked out version. You can also get them, I believe, with a white background to that date window if that's of interest to you. Let's just swizzle around to the back so that we can have a quick look around here. Again, so you get that huge Yeah, amazing screw-in case back there again with that massive cutout logo there. Looks absolutely stunning. And then the necessary text and detail around there, obviously then telling you that this is 300 meters worth of ISO compliant Wardery goodness, and relevant details there. Up on top as well, let's see if we just remove that plastic, getting a bit of shine off it. That'd probably help. We have a flat crystal up on top, obviously with a little bit of AR. And as you'll see there, just from that angle, you can see that the bezel is 43 mils across. So you just get a millimeter's worth of extension just to aid purchase on fingers. And obviously when this is wet, that makes really quite a big difference. Onto the dial again then. Other significant points to identify with these things. You've got what I just like about this dial design is you've got those just little extra orange points just around the edges of the markers. Just add a little bit of color, splash of color then obviously on the seconds hand only, not on the main blocky syringe hands as you do on the Khuraburi. I mean, as I mentioned that engineered bracelet before, I mean, it's just chunkalicious, isn't it, really? I mean, absolutely stunning. All the photos and videos I've seen where people are using this, yeah, it's got some weight to it. It's got some heft to it, but that's something that I quite like about it. So, yeah, this package sitting in front of you then is yours for the modicum price of $285 US plus shipping. I mean, that for me is just absolutely insane value that is accessible to many of us. Now, I didn't really want to talk about this, but it's something I just got to get off my chest. I don't like talking about other YouTubers because I think everyone, is entitled to their own opinions, and I respect their right to express their own opinions without interference. But I did see one reviewer talking about, Helm brand. And his observation was that the Helm pricing strategy was messing up the market for watches. And I just thought to myself, it made my blood boil. I think, what a completely and utterly moronic observation. What about brands then that charge you a goodwill payment or make you pay for their heritage, or those that simply overcharge for what you're buying, or those that have known QC issues but they never fix them? Or those larger manufacturers that restrict or strangle the sale of their watches just to maintain value or even value on the second-hand market. And certainly by that logic also then, that logic of market interference, maybe Casio should increase the price of the F91. I just find it, okay, yeah, I get it. The watch game is complex, but I refuse to accept that a company that is offering a superb watch at a superb price should be criticized for doing so. Helm, to me, through their watches, offer one of the best ISO-compliant tool watches that many of us can afford. So why would you suggest that they increase the price so that they become available only to those with bags of cash? What complete arrogance and ignorance is that? I don't know. Lastly, it goes against why the owner of the company set it up in the first place. He wanted to buy watches like these, but he couldn't find them or he couldn't afford them. So, he created his own. If I speak to the owners of Helm, I'd say to them, massive, massive thanks, guys, for the value offer that you pack into these dive beasts, because it's a watch that the blue-collar man can afford, and he can wear it every day. Anyway, rant over. Apologies for that. The other reason then for buying the additional bezel is that I wanted it to contrast a little bit when it was sitting next to the Khuraburi there in the watch box. I get that there's a slight trade-off, so I'm just removing the sellotape on this. Yeah, there we go. So what I was just referencing is that, yes, there's a slight trade-off with the stainless steel bezels, is obviously that you lose the loomed markers around here and you're just left with that one at the top, whereas on the main black one here, obviously those the edges, etc., it's all fully loomed. So again, slight trade-off, but as I say, I don't think, when it's on, it's going to look something a little bit like that. I just fancied a little bit of a change, as I say, something that sits in direct contrast to this one. And I also have a little bit of a weakness for that, all silver on the watches. I just think it looks really very, very sexy indeed. So then, just to provide that balanced perspective between the two watches, I mean, the Khuraburi is that same 42 mils across. It's a millimeter shorter north to south at 49, and you can primarily see why is because the lugs on here are just a fraction squatter, whereas on the Vanuatu they're just a little slimmer and extend a fraction longer. The lugs themselves then both sit at 22 on both of these, and then the other key difference is in the depth. The Khuraburi at the bottom there is 2 mils deeper at 16 mils. So it is something that you may find yourself catching on door frames as you swing past, because yeah, it's a thick old watch. Yeah, so the Vanuatu, they've just managed to keep it a fraction slimmer. What else did I want to say? So as I say, mentioned the crown on both of them is identical. It's the same size. The bezel also on the Khuraburi then is a flat sapphire insert as opposed to these PVDs or steels. I've heard a couple of comments as well, or dislikes, that some people suggest that they don't like where the colour extends beyond the 15-minute grading on here. I'm okay with that, but just wanted to flag it up in case it's an issue for you. And as well, I don't know if you can see the contrast there, that the Khuraburi on the left has then a domed sapphire, whereas that Vanuatu then is entirely flat. The one negative, I'm not sure about the engineer, because obviously I've not used it yet, but the one negative for me on the bracelet here, which I flagged up in a previous review, is that this is quite stiff here, and as you insert your finger in there, the end piece of that clasp can sometimes dig into your cuticles, your delicate cuticles here. It's just a little bit annoying. If they put a release on there, it might have made that a little bit easier. It's just very, very stiff indeed. I'm not sure if I'm going to have the same experience on this engineer. I'll keep you updated. It's a minor niggle. A couple of other people have mentioned it to me as well. It doesn't put me off the watch in any way. It's just something to bear in mind. Helm then have just released the titanium version of the Khuraburi. To me, in these images, it just looks a little shiny. I imagine, though, that it's going to appear a little bit more muted in real life. And no, I'm not on the wait list for that one, because I just simply can't afford to keep buying all their watches. So I really do hope someone gets one of those reviewed up here on the tube. They're going to be priced at $375 for a full titanium version. I think that the wait list is probably going to be even longer than a year for that kind of value. I really do. Where's it gone? There it is. So, I mean, yeah, what else can you contrast on these things? I think they're both uber legible, very, very similar specs. And I think just really the main differences to me is just about that dial, the dial design, the coloration. Whether you need that date window or you don't, at crown position as well, if that's important to you. I think if you're really trying to choose between the two, it's just simply down to the basic aesthetics of the watch. If you're a watch owner who needs that external gratification of people recognizing the brand on your wrist, then I get it. These are more cult indie than they are major blockbuster. And man, yeah, I get it. That wait time is a bummer, but these watches to me are the epitome of value tool ruggedness without the compromises. Personally, I'm an individual who often struggles with compromises, and these watches don't require me to compromise at all. So yeah, massive box ticked in that sense. So I'll do an update on the Vanuatu when I've popped on the new bezel, shaped up that engineer bracelet, so you can see fully what it looks like. I'll wear it for a couple of weeks and just let you know if I can identify any specific differences from these. But of course, that's just my view as always, guys. Drop us a comment down below as to which one you prefer and why. Massive thanks as always for your support, for your time, and for your view. And of course, until the next vid, this is your host, the Bombardier, signing off. Cheers, guys.